All right, here we go. TK Kirkland, welcome back.
It's always a pleasure, Vlad.
Always a pleasure and an honor.
Yes, sir.
And
Same
an
here.
honor.
Same here.
Very big day today.
Yes.
At the time that we're taping this, Trump just spent his last day in office. He got on a plane, flew back to Florida. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the new presidents and vice presidents of the USA.
Yes. That's what makes this day, doing this interview, amazing.
Special.
Yes.
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 How do you feel?
My feelings on politics is neutral, right? I try to do what's best for the country. I was against Trump because I felt Trump was a man who was all about himself. He was a liar. And as you get older in life, character becomes everything if you have respect for yourself. And I couldn't respect him the way I really wanted to. What I liked about Biden and Mrs. Harris, I listened to a lot of young people in this country and around the world. When I post certain things about Biden and Harris, they bring up Biden's past. And what I want to explain to young people around the world, whatever Biden was in the 70s and 80s, you can't hold that against him about being racist, because life has a tendency to teach you experiences to make you grow, to make you a better person. And whatever he felt in those days when he was young, his tragedies, his obstacles that he's gone through in life made him realize that he thought wrong. And I think that today, him being 80-something years, that's why I think all presidents should be in their 70s or 80s before you become president, because you need wisdom.
Right. He's 78.
Well, 78, okay.
Yeah.
You need wisdom and experience in life to govern America, because you don't do things off emotion. You don't do things out of mistakes. You've learned so much that you move a certain way.
Although Obama was 59 years old when he became president.
Yes.
And did a great job.
Did a great job. Now, he came from a different cloth. He was African American, but he was from the street. He wasn't niggified, so to speak. And he had a presidential appeal about him that even when you saw him today walking in, they still looked like they was presidents of the United States of America. That's how awesome they look. Then what I want to explain to the people who are against Kamala Harris, when they say she locked up a lot of people, a lot of African Americans in California when she was here. Mm-hmm. And I want everybody to listen to me very carefully. They got caught. Let me repeat it. They got caught. I'm tired of people thinking that when you catch a case, they're supposed to slap you on the wrist and say, oh, I know you didn't mean it. Go home and do it again. The purpose of, and I hate using profound, I'm not going to curse this word, but I need to get my point across. The purpose of going to jail and making shit uncomfortable is to make sure you don't come back. They're not trying to make this motherfucker a presidential suite with room service and all the goodies that you want. They want to make it so complicated that when you get out, you'll say, I'm never going back. And it's to teach your friends not to get in trouble. So they won't go. So you take that story and say, yo, don't do it. You don't want to go to prison. And all these young people who think it's a game, And when you get in there, it's a different story. And I'll take you way back to 1976. In Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm in Snyder High School. I'm a track star. I'm getting ready to go to college. But some reason, one of my coaches and counselors thought I should go to this program they started called Scare Straight.
I've seen that on TV.
Scare Straight. Now, they have it on TV now, but when I was going, it was the first time it started in the 70s. They had a bus, took us to Rikers Island in New Jersey. And when I walked in there, I'm talking about big, strong men was dressed in booty shorts and bandanas around their head. They were females to certain inmates in jail. They'd get on our face yelling and screaming, you know. And no matter how tough you young motherfuckers think you are on the street. There's people in there that'll hurt you, that'll destroy your soul. And when I saw that, it changed. Even though I got in some problems throughout life, but I never went to prison. I never did no time. And I want young men to understand that if you get caught, they're gonna lock you up. It's not a game. Stop thinking it's a game, and stop thinking because a black person was in a powerful position, they're supposed to give you a pass. They locking you up because they don't want you to come back. They're giving you a hard time because you're doing dumb shit. And if you do get a chance to get on the street, they want you not to come back. Now, when you come back, ain't nothing we can do to help you. Some of y'all do go back. The goal is to get the fuck out and keep it moving. You don't want to go, you don't want to die in jail. You don't want to die, get constipated. I had a friend that was a track star, Vlad, went to Auburn and didn't stay, homesick, wanted to get back in the streets of Newark, New Jersey, in a car in the 70s, did a drive-by, killed a young man. Now, here's the crazy part. The two dudes took the plea deal, did 10 years, been out. He took it to trial, lost.
Blue trial.
And got life. Died in jail 2 years ago from cancer. I love this dude. He was on my track team. So I'm trying to, this right here, I want people to understand, stop thinking when you get locked up it's a game. Stop robbing your friends and killing people. I saw the first 48 for the first time yesterday. These kids in Dallas, Texas, at the trap, killed two boys that came in for $209 and some weed, and then took a car, took it in the woods, and burnt it up. They watching movies.
Yeah.
Damn shame, man.
Yeah.
Damn shame.
Well, speaking of locked up, I went back and looked. On November 18th was the last time you and I did an interview.
Yes.
In that interview, I predicted that Lil Wayne would get pardoned by Donald Trump in exchange for that photo that he took. And today, it was announced that out of 150 or so people, Lil Wayne was on that list.
He was on that list.
A lot of people hit me on social media.
Now, was I wrong on that? I said it wasn't going to happen, correct?
Hold on.
What did I say on that?
Let's look it up.
Let's look that up.
That's actually a good question.
I was just curious, what did I say?
Wayne is facing 10 years for that gun case. Remember, he already went to prison for a gun case, whatever, 7, 8 years ago. So you can't say, oh, this is a first offense, this is whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a history of this
and
type of thing.
And you know what feds do, right? They have a number system that they go by the book.
Right. And the feds don't lose.
They don't lose.
95% conviction rate.
Yes.
Wayne knew this thing was coming. So what I think is that he made a deal with Trump. He said, listen, I'll take a photo with you and show my support, and you pardon me on your way out.
That would be clever. But I know Lil Wayne since he was 16.
Okay.
He's not that clever. That's just a fact.
But what about the people around him?
Possible. But I don't think, the reason why I voted against Trump, because he's not the kind of man, and I tell my children this, I'm all about character. I would never want to do business with that man or sit down and he gives me a promise that he's going to do something. I wouldn't shake his hand. I wouldn't even be in the same room with him because as I've gotten older, I understand character and your word means everything.
I predicted that Wayne is going to get a pardon.
Yes.
You said that he may have been promised a pardon, but Trump is not trustworthy enough to do it.
Right.
You also said that Wayne is not clever
Wasn't
enough
that right? I totally
to put
agree.
that together.
Right. And I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong, and I want to, if Lil Wayne, you hear this or anybody hears it, I apologize for that remark because when I just saw it, I can't. You sort of said, "I said, wow, I said that," but I stand by what I said, and I'm happy that he was able to pull that off because to do 10 years is something at that particular age, and that's the thing about Trump. Trump has been a blessing and a curse to a lot of people. I mean, look at Kodak Black, look at Harry O, look at the mayor of Detroit.
Kwame Kilpatrick.
Yes, Kilpatrick. And think about all the other rich people who got off. Now, here's my question. Are these pardons pretty much you could pay to get it? How does that normally work?
Well, technically, no. Technically, you should not be able to pay off a U.S. president for a pardon. Although, a few days ago, there was a story that was circulating that was saying that Giuliani wants $2 million in order to consider sending this pardon along to Trump. So maybe Trump himself is not getting paid.
Right.
But you know how this shit works.
Man.
Listen, I'm going to collect all the money, and I'll just backdoor it to you after taxes.
Right.
And give you a big bag of cash.
Yes. So what do you think he walked away with?
Well, Lil Wayne did sell his whole catalog for like $100 million.
No, Lil Wayne, Trump.
Trump? What did Trump walk away with?
On the pardons.
Oh, I don't know.
Had to be in the millions.
Probably.
But I think people forget, they think Trump just did it, but all the presidents do it.
Yeah, you see some very questionable pardons on the way out.
Yes.
Very questionable pardons. But, hey, listen, you tell me, hey, 10 years or $50 million, I'll give you the $50 million.
Especially if you got it.
Especially if I got it. Okay, half my bag, all right, cool.
Yes. I'll drop it in.
Not over 10 years, nah.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'll make that in 10 years.
Yes.
If I have that already, I'll make it back in 10 years.
And congratulate to everybody who was locked up. I think it's awesome that I know so for some reason it feels bad because I think it's Trump that did it.
Yeah.
But to get out, man, and get another shot at life after being in there so long is a blessing for these gentlemen.
Well, you mentioned Kodak Black.
Yes.
He got pardoned.
Yes.
He did about half his time.
Yes.
Not quite sure how that came together. Might have been a bag that was floated along the way.
Yes.
Harry O.
Yes.
Got pardoned. Number one, do you know Harry O?
I know Harry O very well.
Very well.
Let me tell you how far. See, I know everybody. Me and Harry O go way back to the Magic Johnson days.
Okay.
Me, Harry O, his cousin, we used to all hang out. Harry O used to treat me so good. And Harry O used to do plays. This is when LA was big on plays. And he had Denzel Washington.
I heard about this.
In the plays before Denzel was huge. Him, the young lady from the Jeffersons, the young lady that played the maid, Florence.
Oh, you're talking about, we interviewed her. Marla Gibbs.
Marla Gibbs.
Yeah.
All these people back in the day. So as our relationship started to grow, he got into that situation, and we haven't spoke to each other in 30-something years. But me and his relationship goes way back to like 82, 83, 84.
Now, Harry O is very flashy.
Yes. Yeah, he sure is.
Very flashy.
Yes.
And I remember even after he helped found Death Row, he even told Suge not to be that flashy.
Right.
He said, the flashier you are, the quicker you're heading to prison.
Yes.
But he himself was very flashy. He helped co-found Death Row.
Yes.
I heard there's another guy, there's a money guy in the mix as well.
Okay.
Who is out now, who just doesn't want any piece of it because
right.
he's out. But there was a financer. Harry O was involved.
Right.
And Snoop was involved in getting him.
Yes, I saw that.
Getting him out.
Yes.
Because I was talking to one of Harry O's people, and they were actually like giving me info about this whole thing and sharing certain things with me that I can't put out myself.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, Snoop is really involved in this.
Yes.
This is not just a PR thing.
Right.
I wonder why Snoop put such a big push behind Harry O, because the two of them probably have never even met. Maybe if he visited him in prison, but not out in the street.
Right. Well, he didn't know him when I know, because Snoop wasn't even thinking about rapping in 82, 83.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You just never know what inspires people as time goes on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you could say Snoop could look at it as, well, were it not for Harry O, there would be no Death Row and there would be no Snoop.
Right.
So I feel that there's some sort of karmic thing.
And I will never question you again, Tom Brady. And let me tell you why. Like, when somebody gets something right with me that's so big, I always give them the benefit of the doubt. And when I bet against Tom Brady when they played against Atlanta and they was up 28-3, and by the time my plane landed, I saw that it came back to 1, I said I would never bet against Tom Brady ever again. I've kept my word. So when you say stuff like that, even though I might think something different, I'm going to always give you the benefit of the doubt, Vlad.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear his first interview.
Yes, exactly. If he does one.
I heard he will.
Oh, good.
Heard he will.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it.
Right.
Maybe I will.
Right.
Maybe I won't.
And if you do mention me, he'll tell you.
I will.
TK.
I will.
Yeah, that's my man.
I will. Well, Biden is now the president, and Kamala Harris is the first female vice president.
Yes.
I had to actually look this up because for the first time ever, you have first ladies and stuff like that, but now you have a second gentleman of the United States.
Wow, that's interesting. He seems like a nice guy.
That's his title, the second gentleman.
Second gentleman.
SCOTUS.
Wow, second gentleman.
The second gentleman of the United States.
That's crazy.
Jewish guy, by the way.
Yes.
First time that there's a Jewish guy up in that upper office as well.
And what makes that interesting, it shows the complexion of the America, right? Black and white, Spanish and Indian, whatever, even to the commercials now. When you watch the car commercials and Chick-fil-A commercials and everything, it's not just all black anymore. It's definitely a mixture of races in the commercials. And these are things that I know is when people watch it, they'll see the same thing. So salute to all of them again. I wish them a great journey, because this right here, what we have, that we're in, is something else. A lot of people are dying, and a lot of people, we don't know what's going to happen, especially with the vaccine. Some people want to take it, some people don't want to take it. And when you have that type of hesitation, I think it's going to take a lot longer than what we're expecting, because they would talk about the Spanish flu in 1911, 1912.
Year and a half, that's how long it lasted.
Year and a half, but they never talk about the Black Death.
Oh, yeah.
You see, you hip to it.
Yeah.
See,
the bubonic plague.
Yes, the Black Death.
Wiped out like half the world. Yeah.
It took 22 years.
Oof.
See, I don't know why they don't bring that up. They never talk about that one. That one was around for 22 years and knocked off everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And see, I'm glad you know about it.
Oh, yeah.
People don't know about the Black Death. The Black Death, whew,
yeah.
22 years? It's a long damn time.
Yeah, some people don't even live that long.
They don't even live that long.
Yeah.
You know? So I see this country semi getting back together in 5 years. It's going to take longer than that.
Well, I looked it up while I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Numbers are a bit off. The Black Death, which hit Europe in 1347, claimed an astonishing 200 million lives in 4 years.
In 4?
4.
How long did it last, though?
7.
7 years?
7 years.
Okay, 7 years. So not 22.
From 1346 to 1353.
That's a lot of damn people, Vlad.
200 million people
200
dead.
million.
Not sick. Dead.
The Vlad.
Yeah.
It's a lot of damn people.
Yeah.
And to everybody listening, Google it. What we're saying here is for real. And y'all can walk around and talk about you don't want to wear your mask and all this kind of stuff. You better take it seriously.
Yeah. Right now, 2 million people have died from COVID. So we're at like, what, 1%?
Yeah, and what's so afraid when you watch it, you hope that you're not. All 2020, I was praying that I was not that number on CNN.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be at late night in that 400,000 or any number for the next, I'm trying to get 30 more summers out of life. So I don't want to be in none of these numbers for a long time.
Facts.
Yeah, shit.
Facts. As soon as the vaccine is available, I am taking it.
Yes.
That day.
Yes.
The number of people who are just refusing to take it under any circumstance, who are some of which have already gotten sick already and had very bad cases, but still will not take it.
But here's the confusion on the vaccine. When you watch the news, they don't even know. Like every day they have a different way of explaining it. If you take it, you still can catch it.
You don't get sick.
I don't know, Vlad. I think
95, the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, and I literally have been looking at this every single day.
Okay, cool.
Since
teach me.
Like, literally, I go through the news every single day.
Yes.
It is 95% effective.
Okay.
With you not catching it at all.
Okay.
And the 5% who did catch it did not end up in the hospital. Had relatively mild cases.
Okay.
So now, it's close to 100% effective in terms of staying alive.
Okay. Now, when I'm finding out too, a lot of people who do get COVID can fight it if they don't have underlying conditions.
This is true for some people.
For some people.
But it's not always true. For example, we have a guy from Vegas, you know, the city where you live in these days. Dr. Khan, who has been treating COVID patients since the very beginning. This is all he does every single day he's at work. He's had 32 people die under his watch. 2 of which were in their 30s and 40s with no underlying conditions. Wow. That's a pretty big number.
And
that's a big percentage.
They don't really know. See, that's scary.
They don't really know. You do not want to catch it. You do not want to catch it. Yeah, so
man,
as soon as I have access to the vaccine, I am taking it.
I like what Biden and them are saying. They're going to try to distribute and get it out as much as possible, because whoever thought it would be a hang-up? Like remember the warp speed? This thing's supposed to be out, and it's stuck in storage places.
Stuck in storage.
Wow.
They're having problems rolling it out. People canceled their appointments. I remember I talked to a guy in West Virginia who has a big medical company, and all his employees work in hospitals. And he said that out of 107 employees, 12 took the vaccine. Wow. Although all 107 were able to take it. Only 12. Now, he took it himself.
Right.
He's the boss.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what's wrong with these people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's like, I don't get it. You know, but he was like, well, the majority of my employees are black, middle-aged men. And they're still on this conspiracy, like, you know, they're trying to experiment on us. They're going to inject us with something. They're trying to track us. Whatever else. And they do not take it.
Wow.
It's crazy to me.
Yes,
it's crazy.
It is.
But, you know, listen, if you don't want to take it, you don't have to take it.
Right. And here's the crazy thing. As we move through life, you don't know who took the damn test. So you're still going to have to continue wearing that damn mask.
You're going to be wearing that mask, but there's going to be certain things that happen, and this is going to piss off the anti-vaxxers, which I'm cool with.
Okay.
You might not be able to fly without taking the vaccine. You might not be able, your kids may not be able to go to school without taking the vaccine. You may not be able to have certain jobs. There's going to be federal laws in place where you could tell your employees, if you want to continue working here, you have to get vaccinated. And they're like, well, I don't want to do it. Well, thank you for joining. Unfortunately, we're going to have to terminate your employment. You know,
I know I got to take
and you will not get unemployment because you're basically quitting. You see what I'm saying? You're basically quitting because you don't want to go along with the company.
I understand. You got to do whatever it takes to get this thing together, because and what you're talking about is still going to take years to convince people.
It's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while.
You know, so I'm hoping, you know, like I said, man, in 10 years I'll be 70, Vlad. You know how fast the fucking 10 years going to get here?
The older you get, for those that don't know, the older you get, just time seems to go faster.
The 70 is like in 2 weeks.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks,
2
man.
2 weeks from now, it'll be 70.
Shit.
I know.
Oh, my God.
I know. Well, more on a serious note, when you saw the Capitol building attack, and you saw the mob of hillbillies run up in there, woman gets shot. You know, 4 people died, 1 cop. Well, 4 of the attackers died, 1 cop died. And let me tell you, the way the attackers died was some of the stupidest shit I'd ever heard. I mean, there was the woman who got shot in the face trying to rush through that window.
Yes, I saw that.
There was a rather fat woman who got trampled to death.
Okay, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, and the ironic part about her story is that during the protest, she walked around with a big sign, a big flag that said, "Don't tread on me."
Wow.
And she got treaded to death.
That's crazy.
One guy, I think, had a stroke, and another guy, I think, tased himself and had a heart attack.
See, and it wasn't. I really thought they was. I woke up and saw them attacking. I said, they really want them stimulus checks.
That $400.
That's what I thought it was. I said, they really want them stimulus checks, yo. They busting the thing down. Everybody's entitled to do what they want to do. Like I'm truly believe in. I respect your opinion, but then there's some things that you just can't come back from. And to do that, to put yourself in jeopardy for a man who doesn't care nothing about you, has to be the most obtuse thing I've ever seen in my life.
He said, "Go down to the Capitol building. I'll meet you there."
Yes.
He never showed up.
He never showed up. Because the way he was talking, I thought he was going to be in front with that coat on and them gloves, walking with everybody.
Right.
Never showed up.
Never showed up.
And they didn't have a plan.
No, because once they got inside into like the main room, they were like waiting for the next command, and it never came.
And that's what's crazy to me. Like, you did this without a plan. Okay, so what? Say what you would have got Nancy Pelosi. Say what you would have called all the senators. What was you going to do? Could you understand what the army would have came down on them so hard?
Right. Listen. Me and D.L. Hughley were actually talking about this tonight over the phone. The guy who brought the zip ties with him.
Yes.
He left his house and put those zip ties in his backpack.
Yes.
I wonder how far he planned this little activity as he's leaving his house. Like, okay, I got these zip ties, right? Because we're going to get into the Capitol building. Okay, cool. And then with these zip ties, I'm going to take some people hostage. All right. Then what? Once you got everyone hostage, you got everyone tied up. What do you think could happen after that?
Thank you.
Do you think that a plane will land on top of the building and take you to Russia or Peru or someplace like, or Afghanistan or Iran?
You're talking about if that would have happened, it'd have been a mass murder. They'd have killed them all.
They would have, yeah. Navy SEALs would have gotten in that building. The actual professionals would have gotten in there.
Exactly.
And start picking people off.
Sure would have.
Right.
Sure. And that's what I don't get. Now this man took off today, and you left here with this problem.
Oh, yeah. And let me tell you, I have interviewed Muriel Bowser, the mayor of Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And I have connections into that organization. I have a friend who helped set that interview up. Me and him talk on a regular basis. He told me for a fact that they were requesting the National Guard to come in over and over again, and they kept getting denied by Trump's organization.
Man.
Because they wanted it to happen.
Yes, they did.
They wanted it. He really thought, okay, this is my last chance to actually reverse the election.
Yes.
I'm going to have my mob of trailer trash go in there and somehow take over the country.
And that doesn't even make sense. Even if you take the time to do the math.
Right.
You're not going to go in there and change the votes of the American people.
Right.
No matter how you slice this, it comes up wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, they wanted to hang Pence.
They wanted to hang Pence.
They literally had like a rope
and I wonder how he felt today being there.
Yeah, because he showed up to the inauguration.
He showed up. So you got all these people that don't like you and Trump, and you're there, and nobody's really going to kiss your ass because for 4 years, you was the biggest ass kisser in Washington. He was, man, when I used to see him speak for Donald Trump, I'm like, what? Who's sucking whose dick in here? Because I was like, when he would go up there and talk about, you're doing a fabulous job, like nobody, the Republicans, none of them had a spine to be a man. None of them.
Yeah.
Because wrong is wrong. Yeah. And no one took the time to check that man.
Yeah.
And he pimped him.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump made everybody think He's running for 2024. And they gave him all this money. And I'm telling you, either the state gonna come down on him or the feds. He's gonna say he's not gonna run again, and all that money he can keep and not do, don't have to do nothing with it. Cold system.
Yep.
And he's gonna need it because he's gonna have to fight all them cases.
Oh yeah, he's gonna need it. Well, let's switch gears real quick.
Yes.
Lori Harvey.
Yes.
Well, do you know Steve Harvey?
I know Steve Harvey. Haven't seen him in years, but I know him.
You know him.
Yes.
Now this is his stepdaughter.
Yes.
Not his biological daughter. Very pretty girl.
Yes, very attractive.
She's had a very interesting,
journey,
dating history.
Yeah. Yes.
She started with Trey Songz.
Yes.
Then she went to Justin Combs.
Mm-hmm. Then his dad.
Sean Combs. Then Lewis Hamilton, the race car driver. Then Future, who I think has 38 baby mothers at this point. And now Michael B. Jordan.
That's who?
Oh yeah, they're cuddled up in their little vacation, kissing on each other and everything. Michael B. Jordan. That's her current. She went to the top of the heap.
But let me tell you the great side of this. She's in her 20s, right?
Yes.
To all the women who are listening to me right now, this is how you're supposed to hoe in your 20s.
She's properly hoeing.
I call it hoeing to make it funny.
Yeah.
But this is how you're supposed to date in your 20s. You are supposed to explore. You're not supposed to have any babies in your 20s. You're not supposed to settle down. You're not supposed to want to get a family in your 20s. You want to slightly be on the edge of slut.
Slightly on the edge of slut.
On the edge
not
of
full-blown slut.
Yeah, not full-blown slut.
Just slut.
Slightly on the edge.
Slut.
So that when you get into your 30s, you know what type of dick you want for the rest of your life. You know what type of man you want to be around. You know what type of sense of humor that you like. So your 20s, the only thing that's bad about her situation is that social media follows her.
Yeah.
See, this is something that you're supposed to be so top secret that nobody knows your business. What happens with her, just like with Kim Kardashian, just like I said before, Kanye will divorce her, is because a man, when he walks into a room with his woman and holding her hand, he wants to know that he's pretty much the only one that fucked her.
Yeah.
But when you walk in a room and especially the celebrity, this is celebrities now. She ain't dating no motherfucker from Amazon Prime or FedEx.
Right.
So when you go to a major event, it's a possibility these same people could be in the room.
Oh yeah, she could be in the same room with all of them.
All of them. And it's
a Grammy party, it'd be her, Trey, Justin and his dad,
and you
Lewis Hamilton, Future, and Michael B. Jordan, all look at each other like.
You got to be a strong man. And no matter what man, I don't care. Guys pretend that they're strong, but no man want to really deal with that. No man really want to walk in the room knowing that you fucked him, or you going through it and hugging everybody. Hi, Steve. Hi, Future. No. Hi. No, don't no man want to do. It's just a man's thing. A man want to know that he has a prize when he walks in, untouched, pure. I know it seems it's men could go out here and fuck everything, and females have to deal with it. But pretty much when a man gets with that female and is serious, he wants that, because one day she's gonna get married.
Maybe.
Yeah. And whoever marries her, gonna have to be a strong man to pull that off. Mentally, spiritually, he has to be on a part, because you gotta be strong to handle it.
Well, Kanye and Kim are possibly getting divorced.
Possibly.
Seems like they're kind of living separate lives at this point. He's out in Wyoming, she's in LA. The fact they have 4 kids together, you're gonna go through all that, have 4 kids, and then realize
it happens. I tell people this all the time. A person should not get married or make any type of life-changing decisions is someone of importance dies in your life. Sometimes you have to take that time to mourn until you truly get over it. Well, working out, going to see a therapist, because people make bad decisions when people die.
Talking about his mom?
Talk about his mother.
But his mom died a long time ago.
Yeah, but it truly had an effect on him.
It did.
It had an effect on him.
I guess my thing is, because I had heard that, you know, the rumors going around that Kanye running for president was kind of like the final straw.
Yes,
and all the other stuff. But like, Kim always knew what she had with Kanye.
Yes.
Like, I've interviewed Kanye before. He is the exact same way. We're talking about this was like 15 years ago or something. Kanye wakes up Kanye.
Yes.
He doesn't just put an act when the cameras start rolling.
Okay.
Imagine the crazy shit that gets said in that house.
Imagine.
I
couldn't deal with it.
Right.
I know I couldn't deal with it. I know I couldn't deal with it. And as a man, and it's not to put Kanye down. I know I've always talked about him through his journey about being married, and I don't think he could handle dating Kim. My love for him is that as he grows older, that he has peace of mind. That's my blessing. That's my wish for him, that he has peace of mind, because he's not at peace.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it. Think so. But then again, he's also living the life he wanted to live. He achieved it. He wanted to be a huge rapper. He wanted to be a huge fashion designer. He's accomplished it. He wanted to be rich.
But is he? See, and we all say this. But are you happy?
Yeah.
And money can make you happy.
Yes, it can.
I think me and you know that.
Yep. Yes, it can.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it can.
When you have a bad little moment, there's certain things you can just do to make you happy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We just keeping it real.
You could buy your way out of sadness.
Yeah, you can buy your way out.
At least temporarily.
Yeah, having a few dollars can do some things.
Right.
Right. So I hope that if he has that, he can buy his success, make himself happy, raise their children, they co-parent together if they decide to go that way. And now that this man is out of office, hopefully we won't see them type of stunts no more.
Oh yeah, I don't know if Biden's going to meet up with Kanye.
Oh hell,
I don't think so. I don't see that one happening. You never know. Maybe Kim, but not Kanye.
No, we won't have no more shenanigans no more. And that's what makes this such a blessing. And like I said to you before we started, leave this to the professionals. Politics is for the people who know what they're doing, people who have governed a city or a state before. Let them run the country. And I really think that they should pass something that just anybody shouldn't be able to run for president. I think you just like requirements to get certain jobs, you should have requirements to be the president of the United States of America, so we do not have that situation ever again. Because do you know what it would have been like if that man would have got 4 more years?
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it. Thank God that's not happening.
Thank God that's not happening.
Thank God.
And to the people who are listening, don't get mad at me because me and Vlad are talking the way we are. You have to respect our opinion. If you was here in my shoes and you was with Trump, I tell you, Vlad will go with you and we will respect your opinion. But we're on. Respect how we feel. Respect what we're saying. Don't talk about we ain't shit and we do this. Me and this is a grown man. And this is our opinion, and we are entitled to our opinion, so respect. I just wanted to say that, Vlad.
There you go.
Thank you.
There's a new Tiger Woods documentary on HBO Max. You watched it?
Not yet. Tell me about it.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, he wasn't in it. It was a documentary done outside of his direct involvement, so they could get a little more gritty with it.
Okay. Let me ask you a question for you today. Does this have anything with the paternity suits?
Not a paternity suit, but there was definitely the whole thing about with all the girlfriends and everything else like that. I guess 13 women popped up at one point. No, none of them.
Google Tiger Woods paternity test and see if it still comes up. It happened like a year, 2 years ago, and I was wondering how they kept it quiet.
Tiger Woods ordered to take 137 paternity tests.
Thank you.
This is 2000.
I don't know if that was true or not. I saw this years ago.
Tiger was slanging some dick, huh?
He was slinging some dick. 137.
Different women.
Different women. Do y'all hear that? Google it. We not bullshitting. 137. I want to know how they kept it quiet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo, that's because when I read it, this happened years ago.
137.
And I said, how did they keep this quiet? And this is them situations when a man is teaching their children how to be in sports, but don't teach them about life. See, because to sling dick and to be in sports, you have to know how to balance. See, I truly feel that when you're a young athlete, whether it's football, basketball, or superstar in golf, you should not try to settle down.
I actually looked it up. The 137 paternity suit story was actually a fake story.
Thank God.
But there is, I believe, at least one person who claimed that they had a son by Tiger and there was a paternity test.
Okay.
So there's some truth in it. The number just wasn't 137.
Okay. But and we're not making this up. You could Google it says 137, but he says it's 1.
It's not true. Yeah, it's not true. It is a pretty funny story.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it just showed how Tiger was on top of the world, and then the National Enquirer just started digging in and sending people to go watch him.
Yes.
Watch his hotel rooms.
Yes.
Follow him around with cameras. And they found, I think Rachel Yucatel, his kind of main side chick. And from then, things just unraveled.
And those guys with that kind of money you're not supposed to be cheap. Let me teach you young motherfuckers how you're supposed to be a player when you balling like that. When you get that kind of money, you either pay for a high-priced call girl, or you do like they did in the 70s. You get a woman a home, a nice car, and she's what we called a kept woman back in the day. She's a kept woman. She knows that she's a kept woman. She minds her business. She takes trips with you. She knows that you're married, and she shuts the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're supposed to kick out. You're supposed to spin.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was really reckless with it. Apparently, he had like a waitress that he was like messing with in his own house when his wife was away.
Right.
And like the women were really like kind of a disappointment. You're just like, you're Tiger Woods and this is who you're messing with?
Exactly.
You can get something a little better than this right here?
Right.
I mean, I know men are men and whatever, but come on.
And that goes to show you how loneliness or whatever you call it, love or whatever you want to call it, can put you in very bad situations. Because sex makes babies, not love. People need to understand that. Especially young men, when you put your dick in the wrong woman and you nutting her, and then you find out years or months later, this ain't the female you want, but she's about to have your child. And the ladies too. You let a man because you was lonely, or you was drinking, whatever excuse you want to make, get on top of you, and you find out that he just uses women to get a place to live. He has no financial background, no substance to carry a family, and it's a lot of them stories out there, a lot. So again, let's take our stories here. And I know some people, when they listen to my podcast, the TK Kirkland podcast, and they say, man, we was a show 10 years ago, and the mistakes these young men are making with these women and vice versa, that messes up your whole life. Again, Harvey, that young lady, it's embarrassing because it's exposed. But that's the way you're supposed to move.
Well, speaking of kids, NBA YoungBoy, who just had a baby with Floyd Mayweather's daughter, Yaya, he is 21 years old with 7 baby mothers.
Man. And I saw an interview with him, and I want to choose my words carefully when I say this. I wish him structure. I hope that his success carries him way into his 70s, that he's able to take care of his children and be good to the parents, because I would hate for him to, at 21, hell comes with that. At 21, having that many kids.
Well, having that many kids with that many mothers.
Yes, hell. And what we got to teach men is, like, I got 5 baby mamas.
Okay, so you could kind of relate.
And I wish, and all on everything, I put my hand on a stack of Bibles, that I wish I had 5 kids with 1 woman.
Yeah, Boosie said the same thing.
Because to have a kid there puts a strain on your body, mentally, financially. The women are raising the children differently mentally. Mm-hmm. And that structure, it should be under one roof, that your knowledge are going to all your children. And that's the thing that I wish the most, that it was 5 kids, 1 woman.
Yeah, I mean, it's really impossible to fully raise that many children in that many households.
Oh, it's impossible.
You can't be in all those places at once.
You can't.
So
do
you
it.
have to divide your time.
Yes.
And every time you're with one child, there's 4 others that are
Yes.
not getting you that day.
Exactly. And
with him, it's 6 others.
Yeah, and it's really it pulls you, especially when you try to be a great dad. See,
Yeah.
I try to be a great dad, and I'm quite sure he probably is trying to be a great dad too. But if you got one baby mama thinking one way, and this person thinking that way, or this person jealous of this, not knowing what's going on, it's so much confusion.
Have you had your baby mothers fight each other? Like, not physically, but...
No, they don't even know each other.
What?
Yeah, my kids' baby mamas don't know each other. They never met each other.
Wait, how is that even possible?
Because they all live in different places in the country.
Yeah, but there's planes. There's
Yeah.
cars.
No, my kids know each other, but the mothers don't know each other.
But in the process of your kids knowing each other, the mothers never
Never met.
talked on the phone?
Never.
What?
Nope, and I'm happy than the motherfucker. Trust me.
I don't know how this is possible.
I got my own reasons. Trust me, I'm happy as hell.
No, I mean, I'm sure you are.
I'm glad they never
I'm trying to figure out how this is humanly possible.
The thing about that is...
You know, because I'll just say, for example, Future with his latest baby mother, Eliza Rain, he was refusing to take a DNA test.
Yes.
So her and another one of the baby mothers
Yes.
got together and got both the kids tested and
Right.
proved that
I know.
way
Yeah.
that was the father.
And
baby mothers will plot against you.
They will plot against
They will form armies
Yes.
against a common
and
enemy.
thank God that never happened with me. I'm in the clear now. My kids almost grown. All of them almost grown.
Right.
So I'm happy. But I know we think it should be that way, but I'm happy it's not that way.
So they've never been in the same room, nothing.
They never met each other.
Wow.
And they'll probably never meet, because when I die, I'm not even having a funeral. It's a wrap. Everybody get their check and I'm out. Like, no funeral, no memorial service, nothing. I don't want none of that.
Funny. That's funny. Well, we recently interviewed Young Buck.
Yes.
Did a long 3-hour interview with him. Very
Wow.
dope interview.
Okay, I haven't seen him in years.
One of my favorite hip hop interviews ever, just because of how important the G Unit story is.
Yes.
Being told by someone that was there from the very beginning,
Yes.
and his ups and downs in life and everything else like that. But as soon as the interview dropped, in the comments, people kept asking about the same things. Like, are you going to ask him about the transgender story?
Yeah.
That every, you're
what
not
they
going to
wanna
ask
know.
him. You're not going to ask him. I'm like, I'm VladTV.
Right.
I'm going to ask him.
Okay.
So Young Buck kind of broke down the whole story for me.
Okay.
He said, look, I started getting DMs for this attractive young lady. You know, she's showing me pictures of her wet vagina and her titties and ass and all that, you know, and I'm being a guy, I'm getting turned on. And she hit me, I guess, she was in Nashville. She said, oh, I'm in town. Come see me. But I'm on my period, so I can only give you head. So him being, a horny man that he is, he went over there to go get some head. But when he walked in and started to kind of get ready to do it, he realized that this was not the person who had been DMing him. So he got up out of there, not knowing there was a little hidden camera there and it was being taped and everything else like that. He said he did not do anything, with this person. There was no sexual activities. He's not into that and so forth. But this became kind of the biggest thing ever in his career.
Yes.
Catfished out of some shit. You understand what I'm saying? Pretty much, where a person was in these DMs and sending pussy squirting all over the room and pop up and say, hey, I'm in your city. And me at the time thinking with my dick, I smash over there thinking I'm finna smash on this bitch and walk in the situation. It wasn't even me knowing what the person was at the time. It was me feeling like, hold on, this is a fucking robbery or setup, because when I realized, hold on, that ain't the same motherfucker that's been on this video, I immediately got the fuck out of the room, okay? So from there, that's when I guess the motherfucker was, it's clearly a situation where they were using it to try to set me up for whatever reasons or whatever they was trying to do, because when I seen the shit, I could see the way the camera angles and shit was set up, but there was nothing that came from that.
Now, I'll say this, as someone who, you know, in my earlier days, I've dated on the internet, I've met women on, you know, dating sites and everything else like that. No, I've never met up with a man or a transgender, right, but I definitely have met up with a woman who was a lot heavier than how she appeared in that photo.
Now, I've had that.
Right.
A woman being heavier.
A 300 pounder, you know, not there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
That some guys love BBWs.
Yes.
Not my thing.
Not
and
my
I remember
thing.
I was even talking, I said, so how much do you weigh? Because there's only like a picture of your from the neck up. And she's like, well, I can't tell you that.
Big bitches do that.
I'm thick. I'll just say that. I'm definitely not fat. I'm thick. She was not thick. She was 300 pounds. You know, so I understand what it's like to be catfished. So he claimed he was catfished.
Okay.
What do you think of this whole story?
But wasn't he caught with that person more than one time?
There was allegedly other things that came up.
Right.
I don't know.
I always say this story. As my journey in this game, people always ask me, was such and such gay or this person gay? And I said, only way someone can answer that, honestly, if they were in the room. Mm-hmm. And they were in the room, then they suspect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So since I wasn't in the room, I don't really know. I just hate that he does have that over him for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
That's a rough one.
That's a rough one if it's not true. Now, if it's true,
yes,
like the Mr. C route,
right?
You know, at one point, Mr. C just came out and said, "Yeah, that's me. I'm into transgenders."
I can't roll that way.
You know.
Now I'm gonna tell you a story about Richard Pryor. You know the Richard Pryor story?
He apparently had sex with men, with transgenders.
And what was crazy, he said he was high, and he knew they were men, and he stayed a week.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what kind of drug you got to be on.
Well, maybe you're gay.
Let me tell you something.
You don't have to be a drug. You could just be into that.
I see a lot of things on social media, men, or something that came on the news the other day, or I didn't want to post it because I don't like posting stuff like that. These two guys at the train station, and the dude's Did you see that?
I read the caption, and I said, I do not need to watch it. Apparently, these two guys were having sex with each other.
Exactly. So my point that I'm making when I say that, I don't know what's wrong with, and this is just my opinion now. I'm not to the fans. Listen to what I'm saying. You could do what you want to do. This is my opinion. How could you not like titties? God put voluptuous hips on a woman, ass, beautiful skin, that when you kiss them, it feels amazing. And for you to want to walk up to a man and put your tongue in his mouth, to hold him or to suck his dick, I can't fucking get it through my mind. That's me. Respect my motherfucking opinion. Don't say I hate. I should let people live. I'm letting them live. I'm just giving my thoughts on this thing. Because I love beautiful women. Mm-hmm. Small waists, stretch marks. Sometimes a little belly. Sometimes I like to fuck with women that don't have fake titties. Titties come halfway to your thighs. I fuck with them bitches too. You know what I'm saying? Because like if I'm fucking, I could play click clacks. You know, it's so much shit you can do and be creative, right?
Right. Right.
And I like when a woman's laying on the back and the titties go in the armpits. Like this is me. I like that. I like bitch titties be on the
armpit titties.
Right. Yeah.
You
know.
Right.
But to take a woman's panties off and have a beautiful thing there, I don't get it. I don't get. No one will never be able to make me understand that, and that's just me. To all the beautiful women out there, and I know y'all on my Instagram, and you say, TK, thank you for speaking up, because they're saying to me, they don't know what to do. The women are saying they want strong men, and they can't find them because they either are dating other men. That's crazy. Like a woman, your man cheating on you with another woman and a dude, oh my God. That's insane. And then you got women who date other women. Now, some men like that. You could be my friend and I can fuck you, but you may not could be my woman unless you truly explain that thoroughly. Like was it a college thing? That's something that you went through as an experiment. But what would bother me, because I'm around beautiful women, and I would hate to walk out of a situation and the girl I'm with hits on another woman, or my daughters, because my daughters are beautiful. And that, I think that scares me a little bit.
Well, you know, I'm a fan of threesomes.
No,
you know, I've had quite a number of my day.
Yeah.
I've had quite a number, and foursomes as well. I've never been.
I'm talking about literally date a woman that likes other women.
Even when I was dating a woman who would do stuff with women, I never saw it as a big deal because I was never threatened. I always felt like this is cool.
Am I wrong to feel that way?
Well, no, I mean, you feel that way, so you should feel that way.
Okay,
I mean, everyone's different.
Everybody's
different.
different.
Some people look at lesbianism the same way they look at male homosexuality.
Yes.
You know, you go down to Jamaica and, you know, that doesn't fly, period.
Yeah.
But for me, I always found it like, okay, no big deal. Just not a big deal.
Okay.
Not
so
a big
you can
deal.
marry a woman or date her knowing that it's possible she can...
She could mess around with other women?
Give me a story. In Texas, I was dating this young lady. And she was telling me about her friend who's a guy and his wife. Both of them are swingers. She goes find a girlfriend to bring to the house for all three of them to have fun with.
Right.
But he can't bring another woman.
That's just the rules.
Yeah, now watch where we're going. Them two fall in love with each other. She divorces him, marries the new girl that they brought in the house at a picnic in their backyard with him standing there. Mentally, that got to be insane.
Yeah.
I did an interview on my podcast where this woman was married. He had 2 kids. And she left her husband for a woman, but she still was fooling around, fucking the pastor's wife.
People ain't shit.
I'm not playing.
Nah, people
and
ain't
she
shit.
would fuck the pastor's wife while he was giving service in the church. She'll be sitting there. She'll text her to meet in the back. They'll go in the back. She would fuck her while he was giving service and then come back and sit down. Now, I'm hearing all this on my podcast, right? And I'm saying to myself, out of all, you know, I've been into some crazy shit crime-wise and other, but the mindset of some of these people in the world, I'm glad my parents, who raised you, is what I'm saying. Like,
who raised you?
Who raised you? Matter of fact, I got the hoodie, get that on my website.
Who raised
TK
you?
Kirkland, get your hoodie. All right, they sell it all colors, all sizes, but that's enough. Had to put a plug in it for my.
There we go. Hoodie. There we go. Snoop Dogg and Eminem.
I heard about that, but I read that he said that they're cool.
Yeah, Eminem took a shot at Snoop.
Okay.
On his last album, on a song called Zeus.
Okay.
And then it looked like something was gonna possibly happen.
Right.
Crooked I said, I hope it doesn't because it would divide the hip hop community between black and white. I don't agree with that.
No, I don't agree with that either.
Shout out to Crooked I. You know what I mean? But I'm going to have to respect.
I think Dr. Dre would have shut that down.
I don't think Dr. Dre could really shut something like that down.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. Because look at the 50 Cent Game situation. Both of them were signed to Dre.
You're right.
Dre couldn't do it. I was around Game during that time, and I know that Dre tried to get Game to stop, and Game didn't give a shit.
Okay.
Because when someone gets going, it doesn't matter who comes in to try to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That would have been a hell of a battle.
That would have been a hell of a battle.
Imagine if Snoop said, okay, let me go get the hottest producers. We'll get like a Pharrell. Because a lot of times when it comes down to these hip-hop battles, one person doesn't quite have access to the beats that the other person does.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
the last time we
Drake
talked
and
about,
Meek Mill, you know, Drake had all the best producers. Meek had to kind of scrape by with the beats he could get.
Right, and
didn't
I
work out.
wouldn't go against Drake.
Yeah, Back to Back was like a club anthem.
Insane. And I just realized, and I listened to the song on the plane. At the end, when he said, "Now let me get back to the album he was finishing on." What was that last album he was doing?
Who?
Drake.
Play the last album.
Play the last line in the song of Back to Back. What he was saying was he was working on his album. He took a break to drop this disc, and now he's going back to work. I thought that was some clever shit.
Yeah, he said I took a break from Views. Now it's back to that.
Yeah, back to that. Yeah, because he's working on Views. And when I took the time to really listen to the words.
Yeah, he said they're going to ask if I could play that shit back to back. I took a break from Views. Now it's back to that.
Right. Oh, I thought that was insane. And like I think the last time I was here, I was saying how young rappers should follow the blueprint of Drake.
It's a good blueprint to follow.
Honest.
Yeah.
Does his work. Doesn't get caught up in bullshit.
Yep.
And that's the way you're supposed to go. You're not supposed to come from the streets, get rich, catch a case, or die. You was never in fucking trouble before until you became a rapper. Now you're a rapper, taking drugs, doing all kind of harm to your body, and you end up dead. I'm just tired of these young men dying.
Yeah.
And before we switch to that, I want to talk about verses. And a young man, Marvin Dixon, told this to me on the phone. He said, TK, you know what would be a good verse? And I said, who? He said, you know who can match Busta Rhymes probably for an hour? I said, who? He said, the guy from New Orleans, what's his name? That just got out of prison for rape?
Mystical.
He said he can match him energy for energy.
Energy for energy, yeah. I think Busta just has a bigger catalog.
Yeah, he said for an hour. Yeah. He said Mystical could probably hang for an hour. and then Busta go shut it down.
Mystical has some jams.
Yeah, he has some jams.
And you know, me and Busta are not on the best of terms.
Okay.
But that does not take away from the talent level and the history.
Because when I told you, if anybody ever seen Busta Rhymes perform, you do not.
No, he's incredible. Like I said, regardless of what me and him personally are going through, I'm never going to be a hater and say like, oh.
And this is just for the fans who don't understand it, because I know you young kids sometimes don't know. If you ever got to see Busta Rhymes perform.
Yeah, he's dope. I've seen him perform.
Unbelievable.
100%.
The two greatest, here's my three best.
Performance-wise?
Yes.
Okay.
Group-wise, NWA. Hands down. Next, Busta Rhymes and his partner. Hands down.
Split Star.
Yes.
Yeah.
Solo, DM motherfucking X.
Yeah.
I'll put them three against anybody in the rap game. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I can't argue with that list.
Woo!
Have I seen... I've seen Busta perform. I've never seen NWA and DMX. I've seen footage, though.
Let me tell you what NWA had, because I was on that whole tour.
Right.
Chemistry. A lot of people don't understand that.
No, that was a real group.
Chemistry, and they had stage presence. When we went on this tour, it's amazing how those little things that I learned from them, I put in my stand-up for our stage presence, how to work the stage. And Dre and them, when they would come out at the beginning, they came out of, their presentation was awesome. They came up out of sewer plates on stage. And Dre would be playing the beat. And
out of sewer plates?
Yeah, out of sewer. Oh, this shit was
like
insane.
Ninja Turtles?
Yeah. And it's like, MC Ren, Dre, the motherfucking doctor. And the way they came up. And then Easy, because him being short, had this presence about him. Because everybody took Easy to be younger than what he was, but he was really older than everybody.
Yeah.
He was older than everybody.
Yeah, on his album, he lied about his age.
Yeah,
So,
he was older than everybody, but he looked like this little kid. And he was able to just take the world by storm. Amazing.
Amazing.
To be, and I remember, I tell this on stage, how I met Easy. I was opening up for, believe it, I've been really blessed. And I only started appreciating my journey when I started doing Vlad and the Breakfast Club and all these other programs, and hearing people say TK's been everywhere. And I was on tour with Bobby Brown and Tina Marie. And we was, not Bobby, it was Bobby Brown, Keith Sweat's tour, and Tina Marie at the Forum.
Okay.
I get off stage, and at this time, they played a song in the arena. And it sold out, the Forum sold out, 20,000 people. And the song was We Want Easy.
Yep.
And the whole crowd lost their mind. So I represent myself since day one, been my own agent and everything. I walked up to Easy, I said, yo, I'm T to the motherfucking K. He says, yo, I'm Easy motherfucking E. And he said, listen, we about to go on the Straight Outta Compton tour. I saw your show, and I want to know if you want to go on tour. I said, yo, let's talk. So Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Easy came to see me perform at the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard. Fell in love with me. We worked out the deal on how much I was going to make. And he was very generous because this was my first tour. Bam. And what people don't know is on that tour, I got banned in 3 cities. They thought I was worst in the group. Because there, at that time, you know, there were certain things, and hip hop, gangster rap had just started, and the promoters were scared. So they didn't think about the comedian. So, you know, certain things you can't say across the country. Compared to now, it's easy. But in 1989, you'd think you was in the 60s. And I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that's when the movie Mississippi Burning had came out. So I'm learning, still learning comedy. I've only been in the comedy game maybe 3-4 years. And I went on stage, I said, how many of y'all seen Mississippi Burning? The crowd. I said, how many white people seen Mississippi Burning? Stand up. I said, all the black people stand up. I said, now hang them motherfuckers. Now let me tell you what that got me. They got me for citing a riot. Now, I had never heard of this before in my life. When I made the 11 o'clock news and everything. And that right there was a blessing for me, because imagine T to the motherfucking K outshining NWA for one moment as the most notorious comedian in the world at that moment.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Mississippi Burning. I recently interviewed this mafia guy named Larry Mazza, who worked under this other mafia guy named the Grim Reaper.
Okay.
Jeff Scarpa. The Grim Reaper was actually an informant for the FBI for 30 years and was one of the guys that the FBI sent to Mississippi to go find the guys that were involved in the murder of those guys, of those
civil rights leaders,
the civil rights
kids.
Yeah, so like some black kids and a Jewish kid, I think, like that. So when the FBI just could not find a way to get to these guys, they sent this guy down to go kidnap some guys and torture them and stuff like that, and he succeeded.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That story was sort of about him in a certain type of way. The story is really interesting because I guess before you guys ever met, he's kind of tied into the whole Mississippi Burning story.
Right.
And this was in the 1960s, where there was 3 civil rights workers that were killed by the Ku Klux Klan. And the FBI couldn't figure out how they'd been killed or even find their bodies.
Right.
So they decided to bring the Grim Reaper down in Mississippi, gave him a gun and some money, and said, go ahead and find out who the killers were. And in the process, he actually kidnapped one of the Klan members and tortured him and found out who it was.
Yeah, that was a little bit more. I was told that he did unspeakable things to them. That's the words that were used. And before he got to that final piece, he had to go through a few lower level Klansmen. So I don't think he was just brought to that guy, because they probably, if they had to find out who that guy was, who knew. So he went to some lower level guys and did, like I said, unspeakable things. Ultimately, they got to the guy that had the goods. And what you just said is true. He took him in, threw him in the car. And, I wouldn't want it to be him that night. I could tell you that.
And no, when you said it, I see how Gene Hackman said, you're going to use my guys, do the way I want to.
Right.
I remember that.
Exactly.
I love that movie.
So when he said my guys, he meant the Grim Reaper, who was responsible for killing like 50 people or something like that.
And when they came down, they changed the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No,
Listen to me. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I've seen it.
When they went
oh, yeah.
off the books
to
make it happen.
They kidnapped this guy, the Grim Reaper, kidnapped the guy, tortured him, and got all the information he needed.
Yeah, and when I see that, and it's amazing when that happened, it made me feel good. It made me feel good that you could go get help, because they wasn't gonna get nowhere.
Right.
Trying to do it the right way.
Playing by the book.
Playing by the book. No. Sometimes you got to take the gloves off and get in the mud, like the competition, to really get what you want to get done.
Right.
Wow. That's a great story.
Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Recently got out of the hospital after having a brain aneurysm. Although from what I've read, they're not quite sure what the reason was, but it's that divorce.
No.
You don't think so?
No. I think it's a combination of everything.
Okay.
Now, I don't know why I have a hard time believing that maybe that happened and maybe didn't. I don't know. That's just me. That's my first thought. So are they playing games with the people? Because when he got out, they said he was right back to the studio.
After like a week.
Yeah, after like a week, right? Yeah. I do know stress can kill you.
Yes.
And for you people out here, you think it's a game, it can kill you. It can really take you out of here if you're not really strong. And when I read that, I was in my bedroom, and my brother died of an aneurysm, my youngest brother.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe he had good doctors or bad doctors, I don't know, but he died from that. And I told my son, I said, son, I don't think he's gonna make it, because you usually don't make it back from aneurysms. I was like, you have something wrong with your speech, or something's really fucked up about you afterwards. That took me back to my brother. And if Dre would have died, I would have, for the first time in a long time, probably since Biggie and Tupac, it was gonna hurt me, because even though I haven't seen Dre in years, he has a special place in my heart because of my beginning of my journey in entertainment. So I always show them much respect. On all my shows to this day, I show them much respect. And to know that he survived means a lot to me, because all the death that happened in 2020 and this happened, I'd have been like, damn, what the fuck? And for him to still be here, I salute you, Dre. This is dedicated to everybody been down since day one. Love that line.
Yeah, I mean, once he got out, he agreed to pay his wife $2 million. I don't know if that's what she wants. I don't think that's a per month thing of what she wanted. Maybe it was just a lump sum. Okay, here, just take this. watching this play out in the media, you know, you find out what his personal finances are. They say he has $226 million between cash and Apple stock. And then now she's said that he put a gun to her head and he beat her and everything else like that. So then this ties into Dre's history. You know, I interviewed Michelle A. Who said that she used to get beat up all the time, that Dre shot a gun at her and missed.
Yes.
You had mentioned there was some abuse that kind of happened between you and Dre?
Yeah.
How bad did it get?
I had 5 black eyes.
5 black eyes?
Yes.
So you were getting punched in the face and
oh, I was getting dragged on the floor, shot at, yeah.
Shot at?
Yeah.
What led to the shooting?
You know, we partied. And I guess I don't know what I always did. And I always say, well, it could have been just me. So one day one night we was arguing, he went and got the gun. And I just made it through the bathroom door and he shot at me and he missed me by that much.
So he was trying to hit you?
He almost did.
I mean, if you're talking about,
yeah.
It's not like he's shooting in the air or something.
No,
like
he shot at me.
Then, of course, there's D. Barnes.
Right.
You know, and that's, once again, that's a fact.
Yes, it's a fact.
In terms
Everything
of what
that we're talking about is fact.
Yeah, it was documented.
Yes.
She was actually in his documentary talking about it. And, you know, this is a guy that's, you know, semi-retired, I would say. You know, he's not actively, he's in the studio, but he's not actively putting out records and hits and stuff like that. He just does stuff every here and there, you know, here and there. It's got to be stressful. It's got to be stressful. And you just wonder why there isn't, you know, clearly these two people care for each other. You can't be with someone for 20 years and not give a shit about them. They have a kid together.
Right.
She got to live a great lifestyle because of the work that he put in.
Right.
And she deserves a piece of that.
Yes.
Why couldn't it have just been worked out without the circus that's been happening over the past couple months?
We always say that, but it always turns into a circus. Very seldom do you hear two mature people.
Jeff Bezos gave his wife billions.
Yeah.
And made it right back with the stock prices.
In a week.
Yeah, in a week. You know what I'm saying? She became the richest woman on the planet.
Yeah, and she's giving away a lot of money.
You didn't hear about any type of craziness.
Right.
I mean, you know, like Nick Cannon and Mariah. They got divorced. You know, we talked about it.
It was smooth. Was it
smooth? Yeah,
it was smooth.
The lawyers were trying to, they're like, nah, let's just, okay, what do you want? Okay, cool.
And it depends on what happened. See, if a female was involved, a female gonna be bitter. Period. There's no way around it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've said this. I think that something really bad happened.
Right.
To the point where it's like, nah, I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah, that's out of pain.
As badly as I can through the legal system. Because what you did, you can't apologize your way out of.
Right.
And who knows what it is.
Right.
You know, people, well, don't say that. Dre might sue you. I don't know what happened, but I could guess. I could just bring up theories.
Right. Yeah, when the female is hurt.
Maybe she got a disease. Maybe there's a side baby out there. Maybe he beat her ass so bad that she has permanent injuries.
It could be so many different things.
It could be a lot of different
things.
I don't know. I don't know, but...
But it would be nice, like you said, that people can work it out.
Yeah.
And make the transition of power smooth.
The transition of power, exactly.
The transition of power smooth.
Well, while Dre was in the hospital, his house was almost robbed.
I saw that.
And Puffy's house was recently robbed.
Right.
This just shows, and I want to, all the men and women who are watching this, almost nobody should be invited to your house.
Listen to me.
And this is such a common mistake. You got a nice house, you want to show it off to your friends and to your colleagues and stuff like that. Go meet up at a hotel somewhere. Yep. Go meet up at a restaurant. No, seriously. I have had problems with people that have shown up to my house. I've had my house robbed. I remember in high school, a guy who I thought was my friend had my house robbed.
Normally,
and then showed up afterwards like, yo, what happened?
I live in a nice neighborhood. And my neighbors, a couple years ago, invited a neighbor to their house. And that person hopped the fence and the gate and robbed the home.
Yep.
And I got cameras all around my house. Not saying they can't get in, but I could see it.
Yeah.
And no, in the 15 years I've been there, I can count on one hand how many people have been in my house.
See, and that's the way you do it.
That's the way you do it.
That's the way you do it. Count on one hand. Because
I'm not trying to show off. You already know how I move.
Yeah.
Stay low key, flex
Stay
occasionally.
low key. Someone will show up, and listen. If they're not living the way you're living,
it's a wrap.
There's going to be some real deep-seated.
I agree.
Jealousy and anger,
and
you can just avoid all that.
You can avoid.
You
all
can just
that.
avoid all that. I got a house, but
right.
I don't bring people over there.
Like today, my water bill was $55. I'm never home, but it was $55.
Right.
But what I said to myself was, as I was coming down the stairs, I said, I really live underneath my means. Like I can afford other things, but I like the way I live. And I always tell people that you have to have a farmer's mentality. And people are like, what do you mean? I say, well, what people don't know that most farmers are multimillionaires. But you would never know it. The way they walk, the way they carry themselves, the outfits that they have on, you would never think it, because when you flashy, even if you're not trying to be flashy, a fisherman can always see another fisherman from afar.
True. And Bill Gates is actually now the biggest private farmland owner in America. He owns 242,000 acres.
Now, why is he in the farm business?
Oh, who knows?
Something interesting about that.
Who knows? I mean, he's not the richest man in the world right now at this very moment, but he's pretty close.
He's working on something. If he bought that much land for farming, I would like to know what the end game is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a plan. He just didn't do this just to do it now. Come on now. Is there something up? I want to know what the plan is.
It's probably a plan.
Yeah, it's definitely a plan.
Let's Google it. Why?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's a plan to that. You don't do that just to do that.
Bill Gates, from everything, and I've been following this guy since I was a kid.
Okay.
I was a computer kid.
Right.
I was Windows. I was never a Mac guy.
Okay.
When my parents were too poor to afford Mac, Apples,
right.
So we were always PCs. So I've been following Bill very closely most of my life. Bill does not want to go down as the world's richest man, the guy that stacked the most money. He wants to go down as the guy that made the biggest difference in the world. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has given away billions of dollars.
Good.
They've given away so much money. And people are going to, oh, no, he's evil. Oh, just all tax breaks. People don't know what a tax write-off is.
Right.
If you see someone who donates $1 million, the first thing you say is tax write-off, you're an idiot. You don't know how taxes work, okay? I will do a short breakdown of it.
Okay.
If you make $2 million, you will have to pay taxes on $2 million.
You sure do.
If you give away $1 million, you could write that off, and you will still have to pay taxes on the remainder $1 million. But you will have more money if you kept the $2 million. If you kept the extra $1 million instead of giving it away.
Right.
You lose money by giving it away. Yes, you have a tax write-off, so it's not as big of a loss.
That's right.
But you will have more money by keeping it.
Yep.
So there's no donation that helps you out financially. You don't get the money back. It's
right.
not a refund.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates is, not only did he help save a lot of people in third world countries by offering better drinking water and everything else like that. In fact, early in the pandemic, he said that he was actually funding the factories to build the vaccines for vaccines that haven't been approved yet, knowing that a bunch of them are going to not get approved and just have to be scrapped.
Okay.
But he figured I could lose a few $1 billion if the flip side is saving billions of lives.
Okay.
Because we got to quickly get this stuff out.
Right.
So from what I'm seeing here is that they're very big on smart farming and farming technology and trying to help improve how things are grown and food is made and everything else like that. So I guess owning 242,000 acres, they could actually...
that a lot of stuff is being organic and genetically raised fast. Like I saw an article where they created salmon.
Well, there's actually a restaurant in Singapore that is now serving lab-grown chicken. Okay? What this means is they take cells from a chicken, they put them in this huge chemical vat and run all this science stuff through it. I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but this is what they do. I've read these articles. You can look them up yourself. And they create a substance which is chicken. Genetically, it's exactly chicken. It tastes like chicken. It doesn't have the texture, but it is chicken without killing any chickens. So you could create as much chicken as you want without killing a single chicken.
Right. And they have to do this, ladies and gentlemen, because population of the world.
Population.
And it's not enough food.
Right.
They know, they see it coming. There's not going to be enough food to take care of everybody.
I think it's great. And in fact, even me and Russell Simmons were talking about this, and he's a big vegan, vegetarian, whatever, but he thinks this is actually a good idea.
Okay.
Because you're not killing animals in the process.
Right.
The truth is, I've been a vegan for almost 20 years. I got it through my yoga practice because just the basic idea of causing less harm and being halfway compassionate. Most of you niggas can't choke a chicken, right? You can't, right? Really, much less would you be part of the abuse and the karmic disaster that kills almost 100 billion animals per year through rape and other kind of factory practices. They birth them into this suffering, and the suffering is short and really abusive. And then they stuff them with antibiotics and Prozac and growth hormones, and then they poison the planet because it takes all the resources, and then they poison the people.
And I'm anything for the world. I just find it fascinating how the world is changing in front of our eyes. From the food to technology to who would ever think that we could see another person on the phone clear on the other side of the world.
Right.
That's amazing.
Shout out to Soldier Boy. He's claiming credit for he had to kiss you through the phone. He's taking credit for FaceTime.
That's hilarious.
Soldier Boy.
Yeah, shout
out to Soldier Boy.
To see the world changing is fascinating.
Yeah.
It really is.
Since last time, Vanessa Bryant's mom has filed a lawsuit against Vanessa. She wants $92 an hour, 12 hours a day for the last 5 years for being a grandmother. Keep in mind that the Bryant family had nannies.
Right.
Let's just put that out there. So grandma really just had to play with the babies every so often. The heavy lifting was done by the nannies.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just put that out there. This is not a poor, struggling family. Grandma had to take care of the kids because both parents have to work. Not that type of party.
And this is what money does to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just had Marcel Wiley on here, and he kind of was like, well, compare what's happening now with what was happening with Kobe Bryant's family. Because remember, him and his family had a big thing. And, we were talking about how Kobe was probably the glue that kind of kept Vanessa's side of the family together.
Right.
But once he's gone, now...
Everybody going shooting for the stars.
Yeah.
And what people... I can't speak for other people in greed. But this is what money does to some people. It brings out the bad in you. And at the same time, it's what makes the world fascinating, that we do have people who think like this and move like this. Is it right? No, if you morally are conscious. But the grandma feels a certain way. I hate that their business is in public service, but this is the world we live in.
Yeah, I mean, Vanessa said it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. This is the world that we live in. And once people need to understand that once your business is on the street, people will voice an opinion. So if you don't want nobody in your business, keep it off social media.
Yeah, and the reality is, unfortunately, that if you are supporting someone who is not working themselves, at the point that you're tired of them, they will not go quietly.
They will not go quietly.
They will not go quietly.
Just like I posted the other day about don't let no one move in your house no matter how sad their story is.
Yeah.
Because once a person moves in, and it hasn't happened to me, but once someone moves in your house, especially if they get mail to come to your house, you're going to have a hard time getting them out.
It's gonna be a hard
so
time.
everybody's listening to me. Just once you see this and you about to let somebody in your house tonight,
cut it off.
Cut it off. It's the worst thing in the world.
Bill Cosby's still locked up.
Which is embarrassing.
It was embarrassing as well for Bill. He actually posted up one of our interviews on his Instagram and his Facebook.
Is that right?
It was a Sinbad interview that Lunel had done for us. And he was, Sinbad has a relationship with Bill, and he was speaking about how they first met and everything else like that. And Bill also shouted out Boosie. Who's on my platform a lot, who speaks about Bill, which I'm sure is probably related as well. I'm like, oh. And it was sort of a surrealistic feeling because it's like, this is the man that I used to watch every Thursday on The Cosby Show, the biggest celebrity in the world. Like,
he sure was.
Bill Cosby was up there with like Michael Jackson at one point. Like people don't want to admit it, but really at the height of The Cosby Show, this is the man that was the face of Coca-Cola.
He was the man.
He had the biggest TV presence, period, of that era. And I'm like, this guy just posted a video with a VladTV logo on it. Like,
yeah, that's an awesome feeling.
Like I called Lunel. She was all happy. Like,
and the thing about this story that I see, and I want everybody to pay attention, how you got to walk. As my parents said, you got to walk the chalk line to the day you die. And what I mean by that is you could be an honest person your whole life and get 85 and they'll lock your ass up.
Yeah. I mean, Bill dying in prison, I hope it doesn't happen. But it's not going to surprise anybody.
Right.
He apparently hasn't showered in 2 weeks because of COVID and stuff like that. If Bill catches COVID, it might be a wrap.
It might be a wrap.
It might be a wrap.
And that's what I'm saying, everybody. Our interviews is about gems and jewels you can use for your life. And the thing that we and you talk about the most is keeping these young kids out of jail and who they sleep with. Two of the most dangerous things, believe it or not, in the world. Getting locked up and having a baby by the wrong man or woman. Man.
Yep. Well, I had mentioned Michael Jackson. Michael Jai White, who's a regular on my show.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I like Mike.
Oh, yeah, I love Mike. We had talked about Michael Jackson. Whenever we do, there's like this Michael Jackson hive that's on Twitter that always attacks us. And, MJ Fam, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And I'm sure they're going to run with this as well. But whenever we talk about just the reality of Michael Jackson, not an opinion or a feeling, but the reality, they get mad and try to come up with reasons that we're wrong. And the reality is that Michael Jackson, as a black man, adopted 3 white kids.
Which is embarrassing. I have to be honest with you.
You find that embarrassing?
I find it embarrassing.
I personally don't see anything wrong with that.
It's okay to do it, but when they, in history, whites have whitewashed a lot of black history. This is just true, right?
True. Yes.
In 200 years, when they do the Michael Jackson story, he'll have never had a black family. He'd have been white from the beginning, is basically what I'm saying.
I don't think so.
I hope not, but I'm using that as a segue in. And so when you have a great entertainer from Gary, Indiana, who had the big nose, had the big afro, and then try to say that
and about your complexion.
About my complexion.
Yeah.
And to change his complexion to whatever. And go show you
change his nose.
Change his nose.
To a Caucasian nose.
Yep. And skin looking white.
Hair.
Silky. He looked like a white man. Period. He don't look like Michael Jackson, 1968 on the Ed Sullivan Show. No. I remember I was a young kid. I saw it, but the Jackson 5 was the greatest group ever.
They were dope.
But hey, he made his mark in history. Sometimes I wonder, was it worth it? And I'm gonna share the story with you. I think this is interesting for people to know. Whether you believe in God or the universe. You know? Some people believe in God, some people just believe in the universe. And this is what I say, God gives us a certain amount of talent. And he'll give you so many chances to get it right. Whitney Houston, Prince, Michael Jackson, so on. And he keeps giving you these warnings of get it right, get it right, get it right. And then he gets tired of you. And he pushes you away because you're not understanding the gift he gave you. He could have gave it to billions of people on this earth. And he gave it to you and you abused it. And when I say that, what comes to mind, even when you go to jail, you come out, you can be reborn, right? You go to jail, get my life together, I'm gonna come out and be a different guy. Out of all these people, as of right now, the only person got was Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane came out and did a whole 360 on the world.
Yep.
And people don't see what I'm saying here. See, people have, whether you believe in the Bible or not, we believe in man created religion. Thank God man created religion to give you a conscience of what's right and wrong. We already fucked up. Could you imagine we didn't have religion and people was doing whatever they wanted to do without a conscience?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Pretty crazy.
Crazy. So it's good that man created religion to have some type of order to keep people somewhat in check. But when I see all these great talents in the world that die with drugs or get famous and want to start doing drugs.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get it.
Let me tell you. A few months ago, I had a minor operation. And I remember as I'm getting prepped up for this operation, the nurse is, talking to me. And I said, well, what type of anesthesia am I getting? She goes, oh, you're getting propofol. She's like, that's the same stuff that Michael Jackson died of. She said that. She's like, oh, but don't worry. We're going to be monitoring you the whole time and so forth. Apparently, his doctor basically gave him some and just walked away. That's why he died. And I remember as I'm getting ready and the doctor's, like the anesthesiologist injecting, I said, how long does this take to kick in? He's like, oh, about 30 seconds. I said, wow. And I just woke up. And I remember as I woke up, I said, this is what Michael Jackson's using to sleep with? This is his sleeping pill right here? This shit? You got to be fucking crazy to be taking this. Like this is a serious anesthesia. You are dead. They could cut you open and poke around in you and you will feel nothing off this anesthesia. Man. And he was using this as a way to get a better night's sleep. And he had a live-in doctor that was giving him to this, giving this to him. And
paying him up, what was it, $100,000 a month?
Who knows?
It was when I followed that case.
Probably.
He was getting him a lot of money.
$100,000 a month, sure.
Man.
Mike got it, but to be using this to go to sleep, you're crazy. And then you think about the Prince story. Once again, I had heard that he had broken his legs doing the splits or something in his high heels, and he was kind of his back was kind of messed up and his legs were kind of messed up, so he was just popping pills all the time.
And the people who can't sleep, what's the Joker, the young man who died? And
Heath Ledger?
Yeah. He took something and died in his sleep.
Yeah, Michael Jai White did a movie with him. He was in that Batman movie, yeah.
I tell people, you know how you go to sleep? Go run a mile real motherfucking hard.
Right.
I dare you to run a mile real hard. I bet you your ass go to sleep. And if that don't do it, do 100 push-ups.
Do 100 push-ups.
I guarantee you'll fall the fuck
asleep.
out.
You'll fall asleep. But you know the funny part, I just want to end it with this. When I bring up the whole Michael adopted 3 white kids, people are like, that's not true. Look at Rashida Jones. She's black and looks white. Look at Logic. He's black and looks white. But you look at them and you say, yeah, they're mixed. I could see it. Yes, they do look a little more white than black, but once you take a closer look, you can see the hair texture, you can see the features. You're like, okay, yeah, I get it. They are definitely half black. Michael Jackson kids do not look half black.
No.
At all.
No, not at all.
Not even a
even
little
when
tiny
you're grown,
bit.
you can totally see it.
Not even
we know what black and white kids look like.
Right.
They got the curly little afro.
Right.
They got white and black features, like how somebody put them in a 3D picture and you could see it.
Right.
You know? And we're not against them. You just really putting the facts out there.
Right. And to really put the cherry on the cake, Michael Jackson's brothers, most of them had mixed kids.
Yes.
And they all look like mixed kids.
They all look like mixed
kids. Or
they
look like black kids.
Right.
So you gonna tell me that all your siblings from the same parents had children with white women who look mixed, but all 3 of your kids magically look just pure white.
And then one of them, the wife, had babies from both brothers.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
Damn.
I think I brought that up.
How the fuck can you, man, if that ain't motherfucking cold. Y'all coming to the house? Wow.
Thanksgiving must be awkward at that house, let me tell you.
You cousins and brothers. Who raised you?
Who raised you?
Who raised you? Listen. Wow.
Oh, man. Malik Beasley, 24, is dating Larsa Pippen.
Now, who's
46.
Malik Beasley?
He's a basketball player.
And dating who?
Larsa Pippen. Scottie Pippen's
But wasn't
ex-wife.
she with Future?
She was.
She fine, yo.
Malik Beasley plays for the Timberwolves.
But his wife divorced him, right?
Yeah, he has an Asian wife who just had a baby.
Right.
She claims she found out on
I saw that
on social media.
I saw that. Now, Miss Pippen was saying that they were just friends. She didn't want to break up a married home, but in actuality, it's official. They are dating.
Yeah, I mean, they got like Christmas pictures together and shit like that. Like, you know, and it's interesting because I brought this up. I brought this up to John Sally during our interview.
Cold, boy.
And he's friends with Larsa.
Yes.
In fact, he remembers when Scottie first met Larsa. And was like, oh, I just met the finest woman. Oh, yeah, this is the one, everything else like that. And he was like, well, he just started breaking down about how he had experiences with older women, how much he's learned, how you get the right older woman, especially one who's kind of been in these circles and stuff like that. She could really change your life. She could really put you up on some shit.
So I learned from her. I would say her name, but I said her name before and kind of got in trouble for it. But she taught me, she was at one time married to an NFL player. So she put me up on a lot of game. So I love older women. When you get older, they say you like younger women. I don't know.
I remember my first older woman. I got turned out.
Wow. See, let me tell you about me. I've always kept a bad bitch breathing on me since I was like 12, right?
Right.
I've never had that experience. I always try to keep men in control. That's my goal, is to teach men to stay, no matter how good the head, how good the pussy, how they can lead you, stay so focused that you get yours, because that kind of woman can make a man, if he's not strong, when you leave your wife for another woman, that's a cold bitch. Or either she a cold bitch or you a weak man.
Yeah.
See, because you always got to keep it playing, my philosophy. If you married, you're supposed to just fuck her and let her go. You don't break up your family, especially when that female has a history. See, because your history don't lie.
Yeah.
See, her history don't lie. Now, the young lady who dated Puffy and them, I'm not mad at her because she's in her 20s.
Yeah.
This is how she really is supposed to move. It's just that social media is monitoring her business. But when you're 46 and you're oh-ho, that's what you call oh-ho. You know, apparently you didn't like Scottie, true. But
they had like 4 kids together.
Yeah, and
must like them a little bit.
I know the pain he going through.
Oh, having to see all this shit play out?
And what can you say to her? Like, this is not your wife no more, right? So you can't check her because she still want to be out there. You can't say you ain't shit or whatever. You got to keep your mouth shut. Man. So it's so many lessons here in life. And my thing is to the gentleman is always keep it player. Play the player, pimp the pimp.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah, play the player, pimp the pimp.
Well, after our last interview, the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones fight happened. You watched it?
Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought it was a skit on Saturday Night Live. I started laughing when they came out. Honestly, I started laughing when I saw that. I said, "Oh, they're gonna have a heart attack." But when I heard the money that they made,
they made some money. It was his production company.
It's over 80 million.
Yeah.
And they get me to do the one with Holyfield.
They're saying they will.
Yeah. And I thought it was great. You know, I'm a fan of anything my boy do with Mike.
Yeah.
So it was good for the culture. It was good for people to be excited about something because it was so much. There's nothing to do. So everybody's sitting home. We couldn't, you know, even though there was two old heads fighting, people talking about somebody was going to die or Mike was going to hurt him. Whatever your conversation was, it was great publicity to sit there and watch it. And I was fascinated by Nate getting knocked out.
That was kind of the highlight of that event.
They stole the show.
Yeah.
That knockout took the fame for whatever it was with Mike, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, from what I understand, Nate was still in the ring, lying there when Tyson and Jones started fighting. They just left him in there. He was still asleep.
That's hilarious. And I knew Nate wasn't ready for that fight when he threw the first punch. The punch was so flimsy, like he didn't really want to hit him.
Oh, yeah, no.
And I said, oh, he don't want to fight.
Oh, yeah. I remember, you know, because I interviewed fighters about this afterwards. Like Zab Judah came in and talked about it. Michael Jai White came in and talked about it. And Michael was like, when I saw that first jab.
Wow, and see, I don't even know nothing about boxing.
And he said how he just kept his arm out there.
It was flimsy. It was flimsy.
He said, oh no, this is about to end so badly.
He didn't have no meaning behind it whatsoever.
No. Zab Judah said that Nate Robinson is the only fighter in history to go 0-3 in one fight. He was knocked out 3 times in that same fight.
You know, Nate Robinson is probably the only fighter I know that had one fight, but so he's 1-3, because he got knocked out 3 times in that fight. You know what I'm saying? So
one fight,
3 losses.
3 losses.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, but he's still my boy though. I mean, listen.
And the one thing that everyone who I interviewed about this, you know, in terms of all the professional fighters or the semi-professional fighters, they all said that it looked like Nate Robinson spent no time in the ring whatsoever.
Okay, and that's what it looked like then.
He did not spar.
Right.
He did not.
Because you don't do that.
No.
And I know this.
He did not have a proper trainer. He did not go to the gym.
Right.
He just felt, I'm a professional athlete. This white boy's a YouTuber. I'm going to beat his ass.
No training.
And go home and
Now, what do you think with Mayweather and him fighting?
Well, he's fighting his brother. He's fighting not Jake Paul, but Logan Paul.
Oh, he's not fighting the guy that was in. Oh.
He's fighting his brother, Logan Paul.
Okay. Is his brother smaller or tiny?
I think he's bigger.
He's bigger than?
No, he's about the same size. He's bigger. He's like 50 pounds heavier than Mayweather, and quite a bit taller as well.
So why did that happen? Why is he fighting his brother?
Listen, I remember after doing the Tyson interview, I'm hanging out at Tyson's gym with Zab, and Zab told me, he's like, oh man, listen, I went to Logan Paul's training camp. He's gonna fight Mayweather. I said, absolutely not. I said, I'll bet you 100,000 right now that's not gonna happen. He's like, no, I'm serious. I got that phone call from Zab. He said, I told you. I said, didn't I call it? I think it's a huge paycheck for Mayweather.
Oh, yeah.
Probably an easy fight.
Okay.
since this guy is, the way Zab described him as a former world champion boxer, he said that, Logan Paul is about at a Golden Gloves level.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He would never make it as a professional fighter, but he could fight.
Right.
He could fight. As you saw Jake Paul, Jake was not the greatest fighter.
Right.
But he beat up.
Right. He came with
Nate
intention.
because Nate didn't know how to fight.
Right.
Didn't know how to box.
Right. He didn't know how to box.
Maybe he knew how to fight in the streets, but this is not that.
Yeah, that boy came with intention.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know. It seems like a big payday for a relatively easy payday. You're probably not going to touch Floyd.
Probably not.
He's
really
he's fast,
a talented
he's quick.
man.
But at any point when you get in the ring with someone, you get hit with that one wrong punch. Imagine to go 50-0 and then get knocked out by
I thought about
a
that.
YouTuber.
But
I mean, like
Floyd Mayweather is like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Don't ever bet against him.
You know who else was like Tom Brady? Mike Tyson when he fought Buster Douglas.
But
you and I are old enough to remember
yes,
this.
I'm going to tell you a story about that.
Okay.
And Mike could tell you too.
Because I interviewed Buster Douglas.
Yes.
But go ahead, tell me your story.
Here's the story about that with Mike. That night before Mike was fucking and smoking weed, he did not take Buster Douglas seriously.
We talked about that with Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Bobby Brown showed up with like 12 Japanese girls.
Fucking, and it fucked up the whole thing.
So they said Bobby said that he was with you in Japan, and y'all had girls dancing. He was with you dancing on tour.
Dancing with the girls.
No, he said y'all had girls dancing. What he said? Whoa. Mike Tyson and I were in Japan. We basically stayed up all night partying with 12 Japanese girls. And
yes. Bobby's a good multiplier, but yes.
He said it was just me, Mike. I kept telling Mike, you need to go to sleep and get some
lying.
sleep.
Stop lying, Bobby.
He said you need to get some sleep
right.
for the fight tomorrow.
Right, but he can have all the girls, right? I get some sleep so he can have them all, huh?
Right. He said.
Yeah.
And that hurt my feelings because when me and Mike go prior and we talk about it, I always say, yo, you think your life could have been different if you'd have never fucked with Don King? And because I thought Rooney and all them dudes was the guys to hang with. But Mike said nah, because that dude turned out to be a drunk and all this other stuff. Me personally, I think his life would have been different if he had true people that cared about him and took him through what he had to do. He would have been phenomenal because even when he got out of prison, for his second fight to be Holyfield was insane. He was supposed to have 2-3 fights before.
Supposed to build up to it.
Yeah, before he fought Holyfield. That was just a money grab on Don King's part. How are you gonna be in prison 3 years in your second fight? You ain't fought now in 3 years. You're gonna lose something.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Mike Tyson, greatest. If he'd have never went to jail.
Well, see, you could say, well, if he had different people. I mean, we even talked about what would happen if Gus D'Amato didn't die so quick. Because Cus D'Amato died at the very start of his professional career.
Yeah, sure did.
He didn't, I don't think Cus saw him as a champion.
No.
Before he died.
No, he didn't.
So you could say, well, if certain people were around him, certain people were not. But in our interview, Tyson freely admitted that he's bipolar. He said he might be tripolar.
It was once said that you was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
I might be tripolar. I'm everything, man. Listen, I'm something special. Yeah, I'm interesting. I'm an interesting guy.
I remember after the interview, I read this really interesting story, right? Where Mike, in anticipation of some fight, I forgot which one it was, got his deposit, some big bag of money. Let's say $5 million.
Right.
He went to the Versace store, spent $100,000 at the Versace store, goes to a jewelry shop, spends another $400,000 there. But to really put this in perspective, he goes to the Lamborghini shop, buys a brand new Lamborghini, backs up, hits something, gets out of the car and says, this fucking car is bad luck. I got to fight tomorrow. Looks at the valet, say, here, you take it. And the valet's sitting there going, what am I supposed to do? And Don King's like, take the car, fool. Mike just gave you the car, take it.
Wow.
So that just goes to show that with Mike, his highs are so high and his lows are so low because learning how to deal, with the fame and I asked him, I said, you burned through $300 million. He said, I don't think about used to. I don't care about that.
Right.
But $300 million is $300 million.
He always say that, yeah. He doesn't care.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He don't care. And I have a lot of respect for Mike. I thought the interview was so dope.
Yes, I saw the interview.
The intro, Mike is such an honest person.
Yes, he is.
I've never seen that level of honesty where he just admits to all his faults.
Yes.
He doesn't sugarcoat it.
Right.
And his philosophy and his look at the way he looks at life. I really learned a lot sitting with him and watching this. But with the way he was, with the highs and lows, giving away a Lamborghini to a random person, and I've heard of him giving away, I remember we interviewed Ed Lover.
Yes.
There's a story about how Mike gave him a Bentley.
Right.
And Mike's managers went to go pick it up afterwards. And later on, Mike told Ed that, I want you to keep that car. Those managers are crooks. He's like, I gave you that car because I knew you couldn't afford one yourself. So I just gave you a Bentley because you're my friend.
Right.
And I want my friends to look fly. Regardless of who Mike had around him, I think Mike's journey would have been pretty much the same.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay, I respect that.
But you know him much better than me.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm completely wrong.
Right.
But Mike is Mike.
But it goes back to who raised you again.
Right.
Very easy who raised you, but very powerful when you take the time to think about it. And who raised you is based on just not your parents. It's the people who you come in contact with, the people who can influence you. All those things are who raised you. And as we was coming up together and the people that I saw around, because like I said, I was my own man. So I would dip in with everybody and then dip out.
Yeah.
So I saw everything from different moments and different parts of our journey. And me personally, knowing how the right person in your life can change you, if the right guy would have got him.
Yeah.
If the right guy would have got him. And that's where, if I woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
How many stories we know like that?
Lots.
Lots.
YFN Lucci, a rapper from Atlanta who is dating Lil
I saw that.
Wayne's
That hurt my feelings.
He is now in jail with no bond over his role in a murder that happened in Atlanta. From what they say, he was just a driver, but there was someone in his car who apparently killed someone or got killed or
Right.
something. There is
And they threw him out the car.
It's a fairly crazy situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first thing that happened was, look, once again, Vlad's the reason why he's locked up.
I heard about that.
Yes.
I
got blamed for this.
Yeah, and I like what Charlemagne did. So did you see the interview, Charlemagne?
Charlemagne talked about the Casanova.
Right,
The Casanova
and explained to that
situation.
if you go on these shows and you tell your business, that's you. Vlad is not telling you to say, and you got to know now in this world, whether it's on video, whether it's on your record, the feds will use anything to lock you up. This is just common sense.
I actually looked up the dates because, I don't know what a person's going through when I interview them.
Right.
The incident that YFN Lucci is being charged with happened 2 days after we filmed our interview.
Okay.
So for all the internet detectives out there who are trying to say that he talked about the situation in my interview or whatever else, it's impossible.
Yeah,
It's
but
impossible.
you don't really know how the education level and intellect level is insane. But isn't he a multimillionaire?
He has a good amount of money.
And to be driving in the car?
Probably in a Rolls Royce. I mean, he has like Rolls Royces.
This is what I'm saying. Like, this don't
Maybachs
make
and
no
stuff like
sense
that.
to me, man. And I like that guy.
I've interviewed him twice. I like the guy. Me and the president of his label are real cool. In fact, I ended up clearing a Boosie sample that they used on that album.
So I'm wondering, and hear me out, I know sometimes the police can add to a case and be lying, and you got to prove yourself in court. But what you young men need to understand, and this is what I really feel they should have did with Donald Trump when he sided and those people died. Everybody that went in that building should have been charged with murder, including Donald Trump.
I agree.
Is because if you give me a gun and I go kill somebody, you get the charge too. I get charged with murder, you get charged with murder.
Right. I mean, there's an actual case of that, you know, for all the hip hop historians out there. 2 rappers from the 80s and 90s, Cool C and Steady B, form a group ironically called CEB, which stands for Counting Endless Bank, decided to go rob a bank. In the process of robbing the bank, a female officer basically ran into the bank to try to stop it, and she got killed. Both guys are, you know, doing life in prison. So it doesn't matter who the trigger man is. If you're involved in some shit,
that's right,
you will go to prison along with whoever did the majority of the crime.
Absolutely. And this is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah,
if he drove that car and they got you on video, I know you got money and you could probably fight the case to try to get a better deal, but they're going to give you murder too. And that's why when I saw the thing with Donald Trump citing the riot, everybody was tiptoeing around the truth. No one was saying Donald Trump should be charged with murder. He is the reason. It's the same way if you give me a gun, I go kill somebody, it's the same effect. And no one, not one time did that come out of his mouth, out of the news anchors and the people's mouths, not one time. 5 people died.
Yeah.
Because of what he said. And he should be charged with murder. Fuck impeachment and all that. He should be charged with murder. This is my opinion.
Right. Because let's just take that situation, right? Okay. Let's look at the exact same situation. There's a guy on on a podium in Washington with a large group of people that he's riling up. But let's remove Donald Trump and let's put Al Sharpton on that stage. And in the course of Al Sharpton riling up all his supporters and telling them all these lies about how something got stolen from him and it's going to get stolen from them too if they don't rise up and do something, and they go and wreck shit and 5 people die, I could guarantee you Al Sharpton will be in a cell right now with no bail.
Damn right.
Awaiting trial.
Thank you. And this is a true definition.
You know, doing plea deals that include the word to life.
Yes.
In every deal.
Absolutely. And no one said it.
Yeah.
Now, no one said charge him with murder. Not even to this day.
Right.
All they talking about is impeachment.
Right.
That's it.
Murder, treason. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Treason.
They're not even saying. And I think, in my personal opinion, while we're on here, I think Donald Trump was a spy.
For Putin?
No, for whoever. I think him being there, he was a spy and was making money, giving away top secret information.
Well, that's what they're scared of, because his money's going to be way lower now. I mean, because everyone's pulling out of businesses with him. New York is shutting down all their contracts. The Trump name is shit.
Wait till a few months from, and you know what I mean? You always predict stuff.
Yeah.
Watch when his taxes come out.
Yep.
When they can't stop that no more.
Yep.
Watch all the domino effect of him not being president anymore because he was protected behind the shield, the presidential shield. Watch.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Interesting.
It's going to be crazy. Well, I just want to end it with this. Since last time we had a few deaths. Tommy Tiny Lister, a.k.a. Debo, passed away at the age of 62.
Right.
Did you know him at all?
I didn't know him well, but I knew him. We see each other in passing from time to time. And that hurt my feelings too. And I know it's COVID, but when I saw a picture of him, it looked like he had already lost weight. So was there something wrong with him prior to that happening?
He had some health problems.
Okay.
You know, he had health problems. I remember John Sally mentioned something like that. He had like some sort of swelling in his legs.
Okay, because I saw that before he had passed, he was very thin.
He was thin. Wow. He had caught COVID once. He was actually looking forward to taking the vaccine. He talked about it in his last interview, which is kind of sad.
So he's been on your show?
No.
Okay.
Well, sort of. We had Jack Thriller interviewed him once.
Okay.
So we do have an interview with Debo. you know, who Ice Cube said is America's favorite bully.
Okay, all right.
Which is a great way to
God
describe
bless him.
Yeah. He loved that role.
Yeah,
Like,
he did.
He loved that role.
Yes, he
played
did.
it. I remember seeing him, and he would like people take pictures with him. He'd like choke him.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
do the whole thing.
He really took it to. He really played it.
Yeah,
He really milked it.
He played it.
Yeah.
And 62 is, I mean, that's 2 years older than you.
Yeah, that's young. I'm praying, man. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I hope when I'm on here that I'm not leaving no time soon.
Right.
Let me tell you, my goal, and I want the whole world to know, 30 summers.
30 summers. Yeah, no, let me tell you. And Dr. Khan, who's a regular on my show, he was telling me about one of his colleagues at the hospital who was about the same age as him. He had the chance to take the vaccine, but did not want to do it because he wanted to wait to make sure that, you know, there's no side effects or whatever. He ended up catching a really bad case of COVID, ended up in ICU, and has like permanent heart failure. Damn. Yeah. That's how
So I
serious
saw this
it is.
guy on CNN News. The lady nurse was talking about her husband. Why do they lay you on your stomach?
They figured out, I remember I talked to someone about this, they just figured out that when you have the infection, if you lay on your back, it's easier for it to get in your lungs, and once it gets in your lungs, that's when you have a real disaster on your hands.
Okay.
So by laying on your stomach, it potentially prevents, you know, the virus from spreading faster.
400,000 people, man.
Yeah.
In a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
the hospitals
somebody
are filled
thought it
up.
was a hoax.
Yeah, no, someone really close to me, they ended up with a very bad case, and they were saying how they were in the hospital for hours and hours. I think like about 8 hours until they could actually get a room because it's so packed up in LA. Yeah, no, it's serious out there, man. It's serious.
God bless everybody.
We also lost Ecstasy from Houdini.
Yeah, that hurt me. He had a heart attack.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was. He had a heart attack. Yeah, when I saw that, believe it or not, I love talking about my little stories. I used to open up for them back in the day because of Eric Von Zip. Eric Von Zip, been around a long time, y'all. And Eric Von Zip hooked me up with Houdini and those guys back in the day. And shout out to Eric Von Zip, and shout out, God bless that brother too. God bless them all, man. It's just,
yeah.
See, I love life. Like I want everybody to understand that I really love my life. I'm not playing. Like I go to bed at 10. I'm up back at 3 or 4 because I'm so excited about the world. And one of my philosophies is I want to get all my minutes out of life. I'm not trying to sleep late. I want everything coming to me.
Well, I'll just leave it with this. You watched the Tyson interview, right?
Yes.
Did you watch the part about Eric Von Zip?
Yeah. When he took the money, I just started laughing. I already know about all those stories.
Right, because we talk, and this is when, you know, the pieces just sort of keep coming together.
Right.
And like, you know, people love the conspiracy theory, but they don't want to look at the patterns.
Right.
Because remember, the story was that Puffy gave Zip money for the whole Tupac situation to give to Keefe D, but you said that he kept it.
Right. And see what's interesting, people until Keefe told you that I was connected with Zip, no one really knew.
Keefe didn't tell me.
Somebody called
someone on the internet just hit me randomly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And me and Zip, any crazy thing that ever went down, I always knew was Zip.
Right. And then after telling the story about, you know, how you felt very confident that Zip kept that $500,000 from Puffy. Here comes Mike Tyson telling a very similar story about how Eric Von Zip stole $600,000 from Don King.
Right, from Don King.
Basically just took
and
the
here's
cash
the thing
and
about
ushered
Zip.
him out.
Unless you made him mad, you never knew he was that kind of dude.
Oh yeah, he was saying, like Tyson was even describing, we'll play the clip. He's like, have you met Zip? I'm like, no. He's like, oh man, he's just so smooth. He's just
smooth.
so, Don, you know, we're just real tired.
Nice
we'll take care of it all, yeah.
Zip took took the $600,000.
Really?
Yeah.
From who?
From Don, when he came in with the money, he was trying to do something, And then Dipsy thought, let's come back later and we'll talk about that. He just walked him out the door. He said, hey man, let me get some of that money to pay some people. I got to pay some people. WBC, the dog, come back. Just come back. And Zip, you never met Zip, have you?
I haven't, no.
Zip is such a gentleman. Please come back. Not right now. He's just not feeling well, dog. Click, bye. And then we're picking the money. We're like, wow, we're going to have a party. Let's get some bitches. Let's get everything. We got to do it tonight.
When I say funny, listen to, I want the world to know how funny Eric Von Zip was. Eric Von Zip was hilarious. And regardless of what his crimes and things he did in Harlem, I like to share the good things with him. And when everybody was alive and nobody was in jail, I remember I was the kid out of everybody. Everybody looked out for me. And I remember being on motorcycles, and Zip was so fly that he would drink champagne on the motorcycles. But when we got to the red lights, we always had to sip champagne. That was his thing. Whenever he picked you up from the airport, he always had a cold bottle of Cristal. Every time. When I got off the plane, cold bottle of Cristal.
Cristal, not the expensive shit, not the
expensive stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Am I pronouncing it right?
No, you're saying it right.
Yeah. Cristal, the real,
the real shit.
Yeah, he the one that taught me about drinking Louis the 13th.
Hey man, that's player shit right there.
Yeah, player shit.
That's the expensive shit.
Yeah, people, you go to the bar and order Louis the 13th, but don't ask the price.
Yeah.
And then, and when you take it and they give you that check.
Yeah, man, sounds like a cool guy. Never got to meet him.
Yeah, God bless him.
God rest in peace.
Yeah,
Eric Von Zip.
If you ever see the interview, his sister is really sweet. She took care of him his last days on this earth. She took care of him. And I forgot her name, but very sweet lady.
That's what it is. TK Kirkland. Always a pleasure, man.
Vlad. May you have a great journey this year. And may your pain be champagne. To everybody else, make sure you get your Who Raised You hoodies on my Instagram. Just go to the website, everything will happen, and follow me, matter of fact, on TK_Kirkland. I'm trying to get my numbers up. Salute.
Boom. That's how we do. Until next time. Peace.